just to give a little bit of context, the way I got onto the Birthright trip was I lied. Obviously, I said I was half Jewish and half Armenian.
Welcome to another episode of the Olive Roots podcast. I'm your host, Chozi Ayub. Today we have an Armenian living in LA. His name is Harout Nikolyan. Harout,
Hello, hello.
what's
It's
going
very
on, my
nice to
brother?
meet you. Nothing much. I'm ready to speak about my experience in Israel, and yeah, I'm super excited. I'm very excited to be on here.
Man, it's good to have you. I don't know how I found you on Instagram, but I guess it recommended you to me. And then I started watching your little clips, and I was like, what the heck is going on? Oh man. All right, let's get this kicking. First of all, man, the first portion is identity. So I would love for you to tell the audience about where you come from, how were you raised, what's your ethnic background, and just give us everything you want to give us.
Gotcha. So my name is Harut. I was born and raised in LA. I was raised as a Orthodox Christian. I haven't. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not the perfect Christian. Um, I have strayed away from the religion at certain points in my life, but I have found myself to be kind of led back to it after seeing all that's going on in the world. It's nice to have a book of not a book, but kind of a set of morals to go with in this life. Yeah, I'm a college student. I like speaking out for what's right, and if I have a chance to spread some information that I'll get into this later. If I could spread some information that nobody else has, obviously I would. So yeah, it's basically the summary of me.
So how did you grow up? Like, were your parents speaking Armenian to you? Did you ever go to Armenia? Tell me about the Armenian culture in LA and where are most Armenians in LA?
So I live in Glendale. It's probably one of the highest density population of Armenians in LA. My parents were both born in Armenia. They're both immigrants. They actually moved here a year before I was born. Um, yeah, being an Armenian in Los Angeles, it kind of feels like you don't fit in, but you also fit in at the same time. Um, thought the beliefs wise, actually, it's super hard to find a group of people that you could actually align with here in LA. Um, but being Armenian, having connections with the rest of the Armenians in the area as well, it makes it pretty easy to find like-minded individuals that are also Armenian. Other than that, I don't really have much to say. It's just like being any other race. Like we live in America. It's not very it's a very diverse group of people. So I don't really have much to say about being Armenian in Los Angeles. You know.
Yeah, I've been to Glendale, man, and I met some Armenians there. Amazing people. We have a lot of Armenians in Palestine, so the Armenian Quarter and outside the Armenian Quarters, our neighbors in East Jerusalem, which is 20 minutes away from the old city, they're Armenians, and sometimes they marry non-Armenians, and because they're a very small minority, and obviously that Zionist state is try to get rid of them, and actually they're stealing their some of the land in the Armenian Quarter today. And I think they just turned one of the places of worship. I'm not sure if it was a church or a gathering place that belongs to the Armenians. I think they stole it and turned it to a gay club.
Wow, I I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, they
It's
turned it to an
horrible.
Israeli gay club and they put some blasphemous stuff on the banners, pretty
Wow.
much about, Christ in Armenia and say like Armenians for gays or Christ for gays or something like that. And I'm like, I saw a picture and I couldn't believe that was real, man.
Even being in Israel myself, mentioning that I was even half. So, just to give a little bit of context, the way I got onto the Birthright trip was I lied. Obviously, I said I was half Jewish and half Armenian, and the group not knowing my country of origin, basically, I decided to give a little bit of an information like dump onto them. We had circles during the group, kind of like spreading information about ourselves, just to like be more comfortable within the group. And the second I mentioned I was Armenian, I got some very weird looks from the rest of the people in the group or in the group, and that kind of showed that sure we may have a quarter in Jerusalem, but we're not we're not really held up to the same standards as everyone else, or not everyone else, as the Israelis that live there. Um, yeah, it's horrible. It's honestly disgusting to see that. I don't want to say all Jews, but the radical Jews really think that Armenians don't even deserve to have that quarter. But hey, it is what it
Yeah.
is. It is
I
what it is.
mean, most of the Israelis, the way they treat Armenians, they treat the same way Palestinians. And, Armenians were Palestinians because they moved to Palestine, so they became Palestinian. But they spoke Armenian and they went to their churches and they went to other churches too. But once the Zionist state was created, they created so much division, even with the Jews that were Palestinian there. And they brought all these people from Poland and Ukraine and whatnot. And they said, this land belonged to us. And Armenians were like, well, we've been there for thousands of years. And Palestinians were like, well, it's called Palestine. And we've been there for thousands of years. And the Muslims be like, yeah, we've been there for thousands of years too. We're coexisting. Well, whatever happened in the past. Everybody fought for that land. Why can't we just all share it? You
Exactly.
know, and that's not what they want. It's Zionism, it's Jewish supremacy, which will lead us to the next portion. Um, Tell me about your whole story of being able to lie that you're half Jewish and be able to go to that, I think it was the Birthright trip to occupied
Correct.
Palestine, also known as
Correct.
modern state of Israel. Tell me about how did you think about that? How did you make it happen? And then we can move on to the experience when you were there.
Just to give a little bit of backstory on how I actually even thought about going on the trip. Um, I've always been into the historical topic of that region in the world, and one of those nights that I basically had nothing else to think about, I was like, why is it that Israelis and Jews get to visit a land that isn't theirs? And that rabbit hole led me to their website. Looking at their website, it looked like there wasn't much confirmation as to whether or not you were Jewish or not. So I don't know if you've ever seen the applications for the birthright trips. It genuinely it just asks for a name, a last name, and it asks if you have any Jewish ancestry. And they don't check. They don't check. So obviously I went in, I said, I this is where I messed up. I said that my father was Jewish, and obviously the mother has to be Jewish in order for you to be Jewish. I was still let in somehow. Um, yeah, I just decided, you know what? I want to visit this place. I want to see what's actually going on there with my own two eyes and hey, record the thing, post it, maybe get some views. Sure, it might sound like I'm doing it for the views, but I also have a very deep connection in the way that the Palestinians are now being ethnically cleansed, just like how the Armenians were back in the early 1900s. It kind of it felt like a stab in the back, knowing the same thing is happening all over again, and nobody's doing anything about it. So yeah,
Wow. So they just asked basic information. They're not digging, they're not doing DNA tests, which is illegal over there anyways, for obvious reasons.
yeah,
Okay, so you said your dad is Jewish and your mom is what?
Armenian, Armenian,
Armenian. And
yes.
they said, okay.
Yeah.
They told you the day, the time, and tell us, like, did they pay for everything? How long did you stay? Just give
So,
us the whole shebang.
I'll start from the beginning. The application, super easy to fill out. It took maybe like 2 or 3 minutes. It's just basic information about yourself, like passport details, whatnot. There's a refundable $300 deposit that you must send in with your application. Um, if you don't get accepted, obviously you get that back right away. But yeah, I went through the whole application process. I ended up getting accepted into one of the trips. Uh, After that, there is a screening, which you join a Zoom call with one of their Birthright representatives. It was at some weird time. It was 2 a.m. here, and I got a call from them. Um, yeah, they asked me basic questions like, "Oh, where are your parents from? Which one of your parents is Jewish?" They asked me why I wanted to go on the trip. They asked me if I've ever been to a mental health professional, which was very interesting to me. Um, Yeah, it was a bunch of basic questions. They asked if I've ever been to Israel before, and they seemed very excited when I said it was my first time. Um, yeah, the questions didn't really have anything that was off-putting. It was super basic information. I was honestly quite surprised they made it that far. Um, I have the whole interview recorded and like posted on YouTube, so whoever's watching, you guys can go ahead and see that for yourselves. And have you ever been to Israel before?
I have not.
Oh wow, amazing. Fantastic. It's a good first trip to take, I'll tell you that.
Definitely.
Um, okay. And are both of your parents Jewish?
Only my father, and he's kind of not in the picture. So
Okay.
basically, the entire point of this trip was for me to come and like see what it means to actually be Jewish. You know?
Awesome. That's the point. That's the point of Birthright. You're like the prime,
Yeah, I was.
prime reason that this exists. It was an interesting process. It was easy, a little too easy. I'm kind of surprised nobody's done this prior to me, or maybe they have, and we just don't know about it.
When did you do that? When was the trip?
So the trip was in July. It was July 21st to August 1st. I applied maybe 2 or 3 weeks prior to going, and it was completely random. I didn't even expect to get accepted into it. Um, when I did end up getting onto the trip and we all met up and whatnot, I was told that it was the first trip since the whole conflict has been going down with Palestine, um, or Gaza, and yeah, apparently I just got really lucky. I was on the first trip in over a year with Birthright, and shit, I guess they messed up letting me on.
Wow, man. So you applied 2 weeks before you were able to take off and go there. What did they pay for, and all, like, how did they prepare it other than that Zoom call you did with them at 2 in the morning,
Gotcha.
which is 9 in the morning over there?
Yeah. So we were added into a WhatsApp group chat with the rest of the members of the Birthright group. Um, and yeah, we were just asked like regular questions. We were told to like socialize with each other and whatnot, just to like get ready for before the trip. Um, we all met up at LAX at around, I think it was like 7 or 8 a.m. in the morning. Um, we all met up as a group. We all had passports and whatnot. There was no questioning or anything. We just all met up, made sure it was. Did they checked our passports to make sure like we were who we were saying we were, you know? Um, Afterwards, got on the plane. The flight was normal. I had a little bit of issue getting onto the plane itself. They took my passport. They took my ticket. I was maybe waiting in security for 2 hours, which it's a YAN last name going on a birthright trip. It's a little bit sus, you know? But yeah, we got passed through LAX security. Everything went smooth, and I landed in Ben Gurion. Once I landed in Ben Gurion, I got pulled into a side office by an undercover cop, and she just went through all of my things, went through my pockets, told me empty out everything. Um, yeah, I signed some paperwork. I don't read or write Hebrew, and I basically have no clue what I signed. I was just told to sign, and I got to leave. What they paid for on the trip: hotels, 2 meals a day, transportation, meaning the bus that the group all travels in, all the activities that we do, that was also all paid for. So like kayaking or the Holocaust Museum, or where we went to a couple different spots. I'm just naming the most important ones. Um, yeah, other than that, we started off in Jerusalem for the first 3 days. And then from there, for day 4 and 5, we went near Masada. We camped near Masada. We went on a hike that at 5 a.m. the second day. And then from there, we went over to the Dead Sea. It was it was an interesting uh there was interesting choices of locations that we went to. It felt like I was being shown super touristy spots. Every like restaurant we would walk into, they had no issue speaking English. It was like I was speaking to an American. Um, Other than that, payment wise, that was about it. They paid for 2 meals, hotels, transportation. Yeah,
They paid for
pretty
the
much it.
flights too.
Yes, the flight as well.
So you didn't have to spend a penny unless you wanted to buy something while you were there.
Exactly.
And you were there for 9 days?
10 days.
10 days. Okay, so you got there, now you're in Tel Aviv, and then they took you to Jerusalem. What part of Jerusalem they took you to, and which hotels did they have you stay at?
So they, ooh, I forgot the name of the hotel, but there has been a bombing at that hotel before.
King David's Hotel?
There you go.
They're the
We
ones
were
who
at that.
bombed it.
There you go. We were at that hotel for 3 days. Uh, we went to Haifa
Interesting.
as well. We were actually taken to Haifa. We were taken into this Christian Lebanese woman's home. Actually, she offered us some coffee, and honestly, that during the entire trip, that was also one of the main times I felt at home. Like something about the vibe of being, I don't know, it just felt right. Being in a Christian lady's home in Israel felt just right. I actually shared with her that I'm not Jewish prior to us leaving her home. Um, she pulled me aside. We had like a small conversation. She was honestly scared for me. Um, but I assured her everything was fine. I don't want to give any names or anything, but just
So
just so I
why
don't get her in trouble.
why was she part of the Birthright attraction?
So she was actually it was the first time that she was a part of that Birthright uh program. Our tour guide, his name was Sagi. He explained to us that he recently got into contact with her, and they kind of wanted to show that. So in Haifa, Muslims, Christians, and Jews all live together, correct? So he basically wanted to show that there is peace in Haifa by going to a Christian lady's home, and that this was the first time it's ever happened on any of his trips before. So
Hmm.
I
He maybe didn't give her the whole picture. Maybe she's been lied to, saying you have Americans that are interested in meeting Christians in Palestine and Haifa.
and might I add, I I don't want to sound like all this high and mighty, but when she was speaking to us about Haifa and where she lives and the story of her growing up, nobody was listening. Nobody.
Because they're all Jewish. And she's
Nobody was
Christian.
listening.
Wow, she's a goy, man. She's a Gentile.
Yeah.
Wow,
It's
she's Lebanese.
She's Lebanese, yes.
I mean, she fled from Lebanon to Palestine, which we're all the same people, anyways. All right, so that was the first day you guys went to Haifa.
The Haifa was actually day 4 or 5. The first day we were near
Yeah, give me the
the
breakdown. Give me the breakdown of the different days as much as you remember.
okay. Oof. Okay. First day, we landed. We were by the Sea of Galilee. We had a hotel literally right on the water of the sea. Um, yeah, that was a cool experience. Second day, we ended up moving towards, was it Jerusalem? I think it was Jerusalem. I'd have to go back and look at it's
How
been
how many of you was it?
it was 32 people, and on day 4 or 5 we went to a Israeli farm. It was an organic farm, that's what we were told. And that's where we met with 6 IDF soldiers that joined us on the trip as well. So in total, it came out to about 36, 37 people in the group.
Wow, so they had also Israeli soldiers
Yes.
join you on this birthright trip that are living over there.
Yes. And we even had about an hour to talk to each and every single one of them. We were all sitting at tables at the farm, and we would switch out the soldiers. It was kind of interesting. What I kept hearing a lot from them was when they did end up finishing their service that they were going to go vacation in Asia. Uh, might not be important to the topic, but I just felt like I should put that out there. Lots of the IDF soldiers were planning on going to Asia afterwards.
Guys, Asia's in danger. You're gonna get
Yeah,
colonized.
so yeah, so I don't know. Watch out.
Yeah, well, they go to Thailand and they create a lot of chaos, and they got kicked out by the lady boys.
Oh wow! Of course they would
Yeah.
be there. Of course they would be there.
Yeah, they like them lady boys. So IDF soldiers, were they Israeli or they spoke perfect English?
Oh no, they were Israeli.
Mm.
They had that heavy accent. I wouldn't say, to be honest with you, they didn't really speak too much about their own personal lives. It's like they were told to be like hush hush, nothing. Like we don't say anything. We're doing our job and that's it. We didn't hear any opinions from any of them. Um, we were told not to take pictures with any of them or like any videos, but obviously I didn't listen to that. But yeah, it was really interesting. They seemed they seemed awfully normal, but I don't know, something at the same time felt off about them.
Well, maybe they're central casting actors.
We don't know. We
Yeah,
really don't know.
they probably told them to act a specific kind of way, show their best behavior, not talk about raping Palestinians, not talk about Gaza, which they call Gaza, Gaza. That's interesting. Okay, so in Jerusalem, where all did they take you? Did they take you to the different quarters? Did they show you the Muslim side, the Christian side, the Jew wall? did you
So
please tell me you didn't touch or kiss that wall, but go on.
I did not kiss the wall. No. So we were taken to the Western Wall almost straight away. A couple of the guys on the trip hadn't had their bar mitzvahs yet, so they got it done over there. I was asked if I had a bar mitzvah, and I said I'm not interested, obviously. Uh, None of what you do on the trip is what's the word? You don't have to do anything. You could choose to sit out, whatever. And this was one of those things. Everybody was going up to the wall, praying, kissing, touching, whatever. And I took it as an opportunity to get some videos in, just get some pictures in. Uh, Other than the Western Wall, we weren't shown anything actually. The trip had nothing to do with any other religion. Almost, yeah, I'd say absolutely nothing other than going to that Lebanese woman's home. Um, yeah, we were only shown the Western Wall. I asked the tour guide if I could split off from the group and go to the Armenian quarter. I was told no. So I ended up going back by myself. We get free time at night. So it was approximately from like 7 p.m. to maybe 1 or 2 a.m. we were allowed to be out. Um, yeah, so I spent that time to go ahead and just check out everything myself. Like I said, I went and had a meal at the Armenian Tavern, which was felt like I was back at home. It was cool. It was a good experience.
Wow, so you met the Armenian Palestinians, man.
They were a lot more serious than I expected them to be, but you know, it's a given. Living in the area that they live in.
Yeah, it's just yeah, you have to be on your guard, and the occupation changed people. We're always laughing and smiling, and since the occupation, we became more serious and always like ready to fight because you don't know. And the Armenians, they're like, well, we don't know where it's gonna come from. Everybody is nervous, you know what I mean? Everybody's kind of nervous. So tell me about the Armenian Quarter. Like, where else did you go? Did you talk to people, or did you just go grab a bite? Did you visit any churches, or were they closed, or why not?
So the Armenian churches were closed. I didn't get to walk into any churches at all. Even the Last Supper room that they say is there in the old city was closed as well. Um, to be honest, there was IDF soldiers everywhere. The only place that was getting any type of attention was the Western Wall. Unfortunately, I did only get to have a meal at the tavern. I spoke with the workers there as well. I asked them about their experiences of being Armenian in the old city. I was told about some instances of them being disrespected. Yeah, I didn't really get to spend much time in the Armenian quarters, sadly. Uh, but hey, at least I got to go.
Yeah, you got to see your people, man, over there dealing with their own persecution. So what else? Where else in Jerusalem? Or I know you mentioned Jerusalem, Haifa. Of course, they probably took you to gay capital of the world, Tel Aviv. So
Yes, we were in Tel
tell
Aviv.
me about that.
So Tel Aviv, it was an interesting experience because I actually got the first bomb alert on my phone while I was there. Uh, yeah, I was just hanging out in the room, and it's kind of like an Amber Alert. You missile incoming or whatever, and we all had to go into a bunker and whatnot. Um, to be honest with you, we didn't really do much in Tel Aviv. It was basically the degenerate part of the trip. That's when everybody was going out drinking. I stayed back. Uh, I actually went and got a tattoo. So that was interesting. Halfway through the tattoo, we got another missile alert that came through. So we went and kind of had to group up with a bunch of other Israelis in a random bunker down the street. It was honestly one of the only times I felt a sense of community in the state because I'm just gonna put it that way. Those people need impending sense of doom to have a community form. It's interesting.
Yeah, only when things get too crazy, then they know that, oh, we are a community. And as soon as that's done, they just
Yeah,
can't stand each other. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Very interesting. So where else? What else? Did you guys go to Nazareth, the Dead Sea, Tiberia? Did you guys go to Eilat, which is in the south?
So yes, we did go to the Dead Sea. We didn't get to go to Nazareth or the South or anything. The Dead Sea was a quick 1 day trip. It happened right after the Masada hike. Um, yeah, we just went. I walked around by myself just to see what's going on in the area. I enjoyed the Dead Sea, obviously. Super oily. It's an interesting feeling. Yeah, other other than Jerusalem, nothing really interesting happened on the trip. Um, I actually do remember right after our little trip to the Western Wall, we were greeted by this. It was I forgot her name, but she was a October 7th investigator. I'd like to say she collected testimonies from all the people who did survive that whole situation. Um, we were shown some clips of the soldiers that did end up fighting the Hamas. We'll call them terrorists. The Hamas terrorists.
That's what they call
Um,
them, right?
yeah.
The
So,
the resistance. Yeah.
so Yeah, it was mainly just making Hamas seem like this extreme entity that's coming out to get all Jews and propaganda. That's all I could honestly like put into words from what I got from that presentation from her. Uh, Afterwards, we literally right after that demonstration or presentation we were given, we were taken to Yad Vashem for even more indoctrination. And yeah, we weren't allowed to record in Yad Vashem actually, but once again, I didn't listen. Our tour guide, we had two separate tour guides at Yad Vashem. It was interesting. They would completely skip over. So I didn't know this, which is evident of what I'll be saying. Yad Vashem doesn't just cover the Holocaust. Supposedly, it covers different parts of Israeli and like the region's uh, history, which wasn't talked about at all on the trip. Which I found really interesting. It's like, well, not really interesting. It's pretty obvious that they would think this. It's like nobody else's history or culture mattered to them. It was the only thing that they talked about was being Jewish, what it means to be Jewish, and the spirituality of being Jewish. We were taken to Sfat, and we were talked to by psychedelic priests or shamans, or I don't know what the best way to put it is. We were talked to about the Kabbalah. It's interesting.
You
It was
guys,
very
you guys
interesting.
were. They talked to you about the Kabbalah.
Yes, they did. We were. It was. I don't know if it was our tour guide that just was super into psychedelics, but it was kind of. I would say it was kind of being pushed onto the group. We had two different instructors come out and talk to us about psychedelics, and one of them I even had a small conversation with. He had a lot of artwork, psychedelic looking artwork on his walls. I asked him if any of the artwork was done under the influence of it, and he said yes, almost all of them were. He says that the Kabbalah has a very major connection to being spiritual with the use of substances, and it's so much. It was so much to put into words, but like I said, I recorded the entire conversation. You could go ahead and watch that part if you guys are watching this and you want to see that.
In the Kabbalah, they associate this idea to the two trees that were in the Garden of Eden. The tree of knowing good and bad, and the tree of life. And it says in that story that if Adam and Eve would eat from the tree of knowing good and bad, they'll surely die. Because what we know of life is limited in time and space, and the body is born and the body dies. But it says that if they would eat from the tree of life, they would live forever. And I don't think that means that they would live in the body forever, because I don't think that would be pleasant. But the tree of life refers to the belief that the soul is eternal. And that's why it has to do with belief or accepting faith. And in Judaism, I'll show you that we believe that the soul is the presence of God. And God is not limited in time and space, and ultimately unknowable.
I genuinely, if I started today, I don't know where I would stop. They tried to connect psychedelics with the burning bush, with Adam and Eve. It's crazy. It's like they took all of what we know as Christianity and as what's correct, and they mixed it up with spirituality, with psychedelics, with a bunch of different topics that shouldn't be related to religion at all. But somehow in Sfat, it's normal. I don't know what else to add to that.
Wow.
There really isn't much to
So the
say.
Kabbalah, did they mention the Talmud?
No, actually.
Hmm.
The Talmud was not mentioned a single time on the trip. Not a single time.
I wonder
Um,
why. the hidden
No wonder, huh?
text, the hidden text. Otherwise, you'll know what they say about the man on the cross, you know?
Yeah.
Did anything was mentioned about Jesus Christ?
Nope. Nothing. Anything that has to do with any other religion, not mentioned at all.
Mm.
Not even Muslim, not even the Muslim
It's
religion.
like the Muslims and the Christians don't exist.
It's like we're not even a part of Israel.
Wow. That's interesting. So they customized their own Israel, you know?
Basically, if you think about it, that's what they did.
Yeah, it has nothing to
That's
do
what they
with
did.
biblical Israel or the Israelites, because these are called Israelis. The Israelis are not the Israelites.
Yeah.
And were all the 31 other people that were with you, they were all part Jewish?
Yes, either part or full Jewish.
How many of them had this stereotypical look?
I would say maybe 3 or 4 of the people in the group didn't really look Israeli, but the rest you could tell from a mile away. From a mile away, you could.
Could tell from between the eyes and the mouth.
Let's put it like that. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so you got to experience their propaganda. What other propaganda in the Birthright? Like they must have said something about us Palestinians. They had to have said
um.
something.
So obviously they're using the October 7th situation as the catalyst. They're saying that the Palestinians are the ones that are causing this whole issue. That it started in October 7th when we know in reality it happened. It started in the 40s. That's the basic thing that they're pushing out, and obviously the slow Gen Z Jews are gonna eat it up. Um, yeah, I don't want to put any specific people on blast that were on the trip, but I also am. Everybody on that trip was, let's just say, what they say in the Talmud. It's true.
Mm,
It's true.
so
They think of us as actual cattle.
yeah, man, we're goyim,
Mhm.
goyim. So if
And that word was thrown around. Goy and goyim, goya and goy were thrown around on the trip. And one of the guys actually asked, "So what is a goy?" They said someone. So in LA, we have some Armenians that are slightly whitewashed. We call them Cheerios. They tried to compare it to that. So they tried to say the Jews that are whitewashed, we call them goys or goyas, which we know what's actually happening. Like, come on,
what does that mean? Whitewash? They're already white. Like,
there you go,
oh, the Jews that are whitewashed. Well, y'all white, unless you came from
there you go,
Ethiopia or Morocco.
there you go.
So it's interesting. Now they lied. They lied.
Their version of whitewashed is an American that doesn't speak Hebrew.
Oh, like Americanized. Wow. And they didn't really check anything or ask you more questions about your Jewishness.
Nothing.
And you could have said, like, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I'll do this. No, I'm
Yeah,
not going to do that.
yeah. So that was the part that I was kind of surprised about. Uh, yeah, it was honestly super surprising to me. I thought I would have to touch the wall, to be honest with you, but I lucked out. We're good. Yeah,
What did you feel?
I
What
feel
did you
like
feel like when you saw the wall? Because that's a remaining of the
nothing.
Roman wall. It's a reminder of these so-called Jews, but these are the synagogue of Satan, but crucifying our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So when you saw them humping the wall and crying and sobbing and putting the prayers that at the end of the day a Palestinian will come through all these prayers and trash, like what did you think about that whole ritual?
It was honestly super creepy to me. I've never been around Jews ever, and going straight into Israel and being surrounded by things I've basically never seen before in person. It gave me a really eerie feeling. I don't want to demonize the regular people, but it did feel ritualistic. I won't lie. I felt very out of place. I felt just a sense of eeriness in the air. It's something felt off. The only thing I could really compare it to, or not compare it to, contrast it to, when I heard the Armenian church bells, a wave of peace ran down my body. And it wasn't just because, oh, like it's a familiar sound. I'm never around church bells. It just gave like a sense of this is right. This is where you're supposed to be. When I was near the Armenian quarter, obviously. But like I said, by the wall, no. There's no energy there.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
anything, it's draining.
yeah, I mean, if
It's
there's
draining.
energy, it's bad energy. It drains you instead of fill you up because, I believe the devil's very crafty, right? So the devil took that land that God already got his salvation through people that were from that land or led to that land, and the salvation ends up with the seed of Jesus Christ, right? So he was done with that land. He just used it for a small amount of time. And what the devil does, he comes and takes it and names it that name and brings these people and say, "Oh, these are God's people," and worshiping a wall, pretty much, which has the feminine energy, the Shekhinah. That's why they have to hump it, right? Most people don't know that. And I don't understand that. Um, I know there's a lot of secular Jews here that don't care about none of that, and they're actually pro Palestine. But
And shout out to those guys.
yeah, I mean, you're the ones who's supposed to be speaking the loudest because they're using your name. And if we're saying something wrong, then we might have to learn something. But according to the Talmud, I'm a goy, I'm a Gentile. Unless you follow the Torah, then I don't think we can be friends. But yeah, so I mean, there are Jews that are Torah followers, and maybe when Christ comes again, they will believe that that was the Messiah that they missed. I believe that. But I believe the rest of them are Khazarian Ashkenazis because 88% of Jews today are Ashkenazis. And Ashkenaz comes from Japheth, not from Shem, the sons of Noah. So it's interesting that if you say something against them, you're anti-Shemite, Semitic, when you should supposed to be.
They're not Semites
Yeah, you're
themselves.
supposed to be called anti-Japhethite because we're the Semites and you're a Semite as an Armenian. So if they say something against us, they're anti-Semitic. What they're doing in
Exactly.
Gaza is anti-Semitic, you know? But that's what the
At
devil
the end
does.
of the day, they're just using it as a tool to shut people up. It's all a scare tactic,
Hmm.
which I'm not scared of anything.
Just like the word, oh, you're a racist. So they get you,
Whoop-de-doo.
yeah, they get you to shut up. You say something against somebody who doesn't look like you. Oh, you're just a racist. I'll be like, no, I'm just calling facts for what they are. You know what I'm saying? If I saw somebody doing a crime and I have to describe him, I don't have to tiptoe. I'll be like, it's a
When this is
Palestinian or an Armenian or a black guy or a Mexican guy. But as soon as you say, oh, it's a
exactly
Jewish guy, oh,
up, anti-Semitic.
anti-Semitic,
Chill out.
you know? It's interesting, man, because I don't know how it is over there now where you are, but America's so divided right now, even between the conservatives, right? They already got the liberals unattracted by the government and supporting Palestine. And now you have the conservatives, you have the pro, uh, like the America first right now versus the Zionists, the Israel first. And that's the division. And they're speaking, those America first, they're speaking about the genocide in Gaza. And they're saying, why are we sending all this money to that Zionist state? Why do we support it? Why is everything owned by that same minority group of people? So, how is where you are? Is it more liberal, more conservative, more mixed? How are the Armenian community like? What's that looking like for Armenians? Are they understanding what's happening there? Did they take the pill of Zionism? Like, what do you see?
So most Armenians I do know are conservative. Um, I honestly haven't met a single Armenian that does support Israel, which there probably is a lot of us. But I feel like with a little bit of not persuasion, if another Armenian goes up to another Armenian and is like, "Hey, this isn't right. This is what happened to us, and it's happening again to the Palestinian people," they'd very easily switch up. As for LA, it's majority. Everyone's liberal here. The whole nine. Purple hair, piercings everywhere. You get me. But yeah, like I said, finding people that are like-minded is hard if you're, I wouldn't say if you're not Armenian, but yeah, I would agree. Most conservatives here are Armenian or support Armenians. So yeah, if I meet an Armenian that supports the regime of Israel, I'd be very sure to instill it in their mind that those aren't our people.
I think
And
I think
if
most
anything,
I think most Armenians know what's happening, and they understand that these are the synagogue of Satan, Revelation 2:9. Like Greek Orthodox know that. Armenian Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, even the Catholic Church. Most of the Catholic Church, they know that. It's just Protestants, man. Something happened with dispensationalism and that Schofield Bible, and that Zionism was created, man, and it took the focus away from Jesus Christ and put it on a pot of land. That was,
and on a specific group of people.
yeah, that were not even the people of the land. Because if you do my DNA, 70% from that land. And the rest is whatever came there, from the Assyrians to the Roman Empire to the caliphates from Arabia. That's all in us. But then you do their DNA, the ones that came there and took Palestine, they're from Europe, Belarus, Russia, Poland, and all the Ukrainian. And then they brought the Ethiopians, and they're like, "Oh, this is my land." Bro, you're from Ethiopia. Or
Exactly.
they brought a Moroccan Jew, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is my land." I was like, "Bro, you're Moroccan." So it's kind of like,
Anything to take over that
yeah,
land, man.
anything to take over that land. So tell me a little bit about, how much do you know about the Armenian genocide? Like, what is your understanding, and what were you told by your family about the tragedy?
So, I'm gonna be quite honest. I'm not as educated as I would want to be. Um, I know that we got nothing out of it. If anything, we lost, and we keep losing, and I feel like we will continue to lose, socially. Um, yeah, I don't really have much to say about the genocide. It's been over 100 years. 100, what is it, almost 120 now?
Yeah, it's, I think, as 1923, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh, yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. We've gone this long, nothing's really happened. Sure, Benjamin Netanyahu uh, recognized the genocide, but what is that gonna do?
Yeah, it's interesting that he never recognized it unless he committed another one.
Exactly.
So you're saying, oh, okay, yeah, the Armenians were genocide, and I'm like,
So what about the current
you're
one?
doing the same thing, man. And when you start looking at what happened to the Orthodox community, and specifically Armenians, everybody talks about Islam, which is the Ottoman Empire more than Islam, anyways, because Turkish people are Turkish people. They're not Arabs, and they're not from where we're from. I mean, I think they're very nationalistic, Turkish people. I'm sure there's good people there, and half of them are probably Greek and whatnot, DNA wise, right? But when you look at the Ottoman genocide over the Armenians, the Young Turks, nobody talks about that, but those were crypto Jews. There were people like Ataturk and a lot of other ones. They were crypto Jews. They pretended to be Muslim, but they're actually Jewish. So, as you know, the Bolshevik Revolution happened before the Austrian painter had to ethnically cleanse the Bolsheviks. They actually attacked Russia, and they were Jewish. 95% of them were Jewish. So like you keep going to all these events that happen, even the Armenian genocide, and a lot of Armenians hate Muslims because of that, but they don't understand who was behind it. They don't understand who infiltrated and said, "Yeah, let's go after these people." When I don't think it's, I don't think they were trying to do that. And then the Young Turks came and they're like, "Yeah, well, we're gonna go slaughter these people," and they did some horrifying stuff, just like they're doing in Gaza. So I'm still going through that, down that rabbit hole. But every time I go down the rabbit hole, I always find the rabbit without the letter T at the end.
Without the letter T at the
Without the letter T at the end.
Oh, that took me a second. I got it. Wow, I don't know why that took me so long. Yeah, I agree. 109 countries. Let's make it
110.
110.
Yeah, hopefully 111 soon.
Let's do it.
Or maybe 112 will be Palestine and America at the same time.
Hey, God willing.
God willing.
God willing.
God's wills it. So what do you think is the future of America, of what you're seeing now? We went from a potato like Joe Biden to a lunatic like Donald Trump. They're both two wings on the same dragon. They're both Zionists. They serve another foreign entity. The lobby is the same, AIPAC. And there's still some evangelical Christians that support that Zionist state because they never got to know who Jesus Christ is. But obviously you see an awakening, right? What do you think, like your prediction are, like, what do you think is going to happen to this country? Because it's going downhill.
In my personal opinion, I feel like we're going to reach a point of downfall where the people are going to have to do something. I don't mean like civil war or anything, but some policy change needs to be had. AIPAC has way too much power over our Congress. The amount of lobbying going down by AIPAC, our government is owned by AIPAC. That's basically what it is. We need to put some policies down that stop foreign entities from being able to control literally the world's superpower just because they have a little bit of money and a little bit of motion in the government. What I would like to see happen is maybe some new congressmen and women come into play. We have some people that aren't funded by AIPAC for once. Maybe hey, both roads lead to 500 trillion to Israel. You get what I mean? So let's hope for someone that isn't influenced by the AIPAC. Other than that, yeah, God be with us.
God be with
That's
us.
all I could really say.
Maybe a third party. I don't know if you heard about this third party coming up. It's called the Restoration Party. It's an America First party. It's still young. It's growing slowly. Started by one guy. I randomly found it on Instagram. Instagram is amazing how you can find people like I found you. And it's all about America First, and they're anti-Israel. And they're like America First and Christianity. Because all these people are talking about Christianity, and I'm like, this is not Christianity. This is not Christianity. If there was Christianity, none of this would be happening. We wouldn't be funding a genocide if this was Christianity.
Exactly.
The LGBTQ would not exist. It would not be Sodom and Gomorrah here. Hollywood will disappear. The banking system will disappear because usury is anti-Christian, and they're so scared of Sharia law. And I'm like, well, let me get the Christian law. Well, Sharia law, if there's Sharia law, none of those things will exist.
We got Jewish law now.
We got the Noahide laws. That's what they call them. And according to the Noahide laws, they look good when you read them. They're like, oh, okay, it's like Christianity and Islam, one God, don't kill, don't steal. But what they don't say, do not worship other idols. They call Christians idolaters because Jesus Christ is Lord. So you're worshiping a man. And the punishment is decapitation. So this gets implemented by every president because of that Schneerson, that Rabbi Schneerson that they thought was the Messiah. And the good Shabbos goy Donald Trump went to his memorial and put that tiny hat and wrote a piece of paper and put that stone over his tomb and was called Persian Cyrus and the savior of Israel. So you see all that, and it's kind of scary when you think about it. Like, if Trump really converted in 2017 to Judaism, and we already know his daughter is now Jewish, his ex wife is Jewish, so he has Jewish family members. If he actually became Jewish, then he doesn't care about Noahide laws because he doesn't care if Christians' head starts being chopped. What about Melania, like his wife, Melania, whatever her name is? I thought she's Christian, but I never hear her say anything about Christ.
I have a feeling she has no thoughts of her own.
I don't.
When is the last time you heard her? When is the last time you heard her say something intelligent?
Nothing. She was just a model, right? Well, Playboy model.
She's a puppet as well. I believe that. I highly believe that she is a puppet. Yeah. People switch up all the time in politics. I truly wouldn't be surprised if they say one thing and mean a completely different thing. They could say they support a god, but our god is probably different than their god.
Mm.
Can't really trust anybody. Can't.
So tell me about when you saw the videos coming out of Gaza. Well, obviously, the mainstream media, was hiding it for the longest, but there's so many journalists and reporters in Gaza that were documenting it and getting killed and assassinated on purpose. Like, when did you realize this is crazy? There's a genocide, and did you know that there were Christians in Gaza?
I did know there was Christians in Gaza. When I noticed this happened, well, it getting a lot worse than it was. I would say I saw this clip of it was possibly a little bit before July. Um, it was this kid waiting in a line for food, and I don't, you know, got gunned down, and that one really stuck with me because it's a child. How could you do that? A child waiting, starving. You can see their fragile skin and bones. You just gun them down for trying to survive. That's what really stuck with me. I don't want to compare it to tragedies, but kind of made me imagine what the Armenian people went through as well, and seeing it repeat. It's just insane. It's the one word I could put to it: insane, insanity.
Yeah, it's a war on children, man, because based on all the atrocities that we can remember that were documented, this is the most amount of children that have been killed per capita, and amputation rates, missing legs, missing arms, the ones that survived. And, half the population of Gaza is children under the age of 18, and more than half of that is under the age of 5, newborn. And like, it's crazy that it went on for 2 years before it would kind of like stop. It's not stop. They're still killing Palestinians in Gaza, but like slowed down. And it makes me worried because who's next? Right?
With the way things are going, I feel like it could be anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really fear for Lebanon because they're bombing South Lebanon right now. Lebanon is almost 40% Christian, 50%, like 40% Christian, 50% Muslim, 10% other minorities. They coexist. There's no problems. And Hezbollah is a resistance group in South Lebanon to protect the Lebanese people because their military is garbage. They're owned by the Zionist or the colonial project. And they're bombing South Lebanon. They're killing children too. They don't care. And I'm really worried because I saw what happened to Syria. Syria is a big country. Lebanon is tiny. And it worries me because everybody lives together and like Muslims and Christians and just like coexistence, bro, which is what I believe in. Why should we kill each other because we believe different things, man? We'll just wait till Jesus Christ comes back, then he'll
Then we'll see the truth ourselves.
yeah, that's what they believe too. So Let's just wait. At least we both believe in Jesus Christ as Muslims and Christians. Maybe there's a difference of the belief, but we believe he's the Messiah and we believe he's coming back. So let's just wait till he comes back. Till then, you can preach your message, I'll preach mine. And if people want to believe my preaching or your preaching, that's up to them. I don't lead people to salvation. I just plant a seed and tell them about Jesus Christ, what it says in the gospel. And then you can tell them about what it says in your book, which I think is fine. As long as you don't think I'm lower than you and I'm a cattle that is birthed to serve you, then we're going to have a problem. And if you feel like I deserve to be killed because of my beliefs, then we're going to have a problem. But if you believe like, I respect you, just respect me, I'll be like, cool. I'm supposed to love you. I'm ordered by Christ to love you.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, and we're supposed to pray for our enemies, which is the hardest thing to do. How can I pray for my enemies? But then I realize you pray for the enemies that God has mercy on them and that they find Christ. For example, the Israelis. But I think a lot of those people are lost cause because they're synagogue of Satan. And, Christ called the Pharisees, which what I believe those Zionists are today. He tell them your father is the devil and he's the father of all lies. And all they do is lie.
Exactly.
They don't survive if they don't lie. And obviously they took you on the propaganda tour about October 7. And was there a Holocaust museum there?
Yeah, Yad Vashem is their Holocaust museum. It shows all the gas canisters and whatnot. I have a part of all the things I saw there on the video I did post.
Dosia Tova Bachman, 5 years old, Poland.
Sima Ati Kupperschmidt, 5 years old, Holland.
Yeah, it was mainly whatever you heard about the Holocaust, just repeated but louder, and with photos and videos, just to like engrave it, plant the seed in your mind that, oh, we're the victim, we're the victim, we're the victim. Yeah, it's always ignore and victimize, ignore and victimize.
They did not talk about how it was all about typhus.
No, that was not mentioned at all. The only thing that was really mentioned during that whole Holocaust part was how when Hitler did come to power, I guess they were trying to say that the Jewish people and the Christian people did connect with each other and that they're a much needed connection for the continuance of the Jewish people. And I don't know, they were basically just trying to connect the Bible to current day Jews and whatnot. It's
It's the
all the
Judeo-Christian
propaganda,
heresy.
all the propaganda, all the what's the word? Everything you see online, it's true. It's genuinely true. I thought some of it would be blown out of proportion, but the way these people actually think about us is insane. And talking to the people that were my age and seeing that they think that way too, and they don't have just even a little bit of compassion in their soul, and it's scary. It's scary that even for the Jewish people that live here and have never been to Israel, they're willing to die for that cause, for the Zionist cause, which is crazy to me. It's actually crazy to me. They're that level of brainwashed.
Well, Harout, man, I want to thank you so much for joining us today and sharing with us your heritage and your visit to the Holy Land, which is unholy at the moment. and for being vulnerable, man. And I will probably post some clips during this episode, and I will link them underneath in the description so the audience can go and watch those videos so they can see for themselves. But I want to thank you so much, Harout, for joining us today, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me on.
Of
I
course,
really
man.
appreciate it. And
Well, blessings, man. And we're always loving Armenians, man. So may the Lord keep blessing the
love.
Armenians.
And likewise, peace to the world, peace to everybody. That's all we want.
All right, man. Thank you so much. God bless you, brother.
God bless you.
All right, guys, you heard it from Harout. You guys should watch those videos. You're going to be shocked. You know, everything that you have been told from the internet about that Zionist entity is true. I'm from there. I've been talking about it. But Harout is not from there. He went to visit and he's sharing his experience. So maybe you should go and check it out for yourself. Until then, God bless you, Christ is King, and free Palestine.